Hello and welcome to 90 Day Fiance Trash Talk. This is episode 72. I am your host, comedian Tracy Carnazzo, joined by my co-host, Noelle Winters-Herzog.
That's who I am.
We are on a wild ride of The Other Way, and I'm so glad it's back. I'm so glad to see new faces. I'm so glad for 45-minute episodes.
Me too. Tracy, this is the answer to my prayers.
I can't take the long episodes. I need TLC to really, really understand that what I need from them is I need them to take all the footage and I need them to break it into 1 hour intervals.
Yes.
And that's it. I don't need a 3-hour marathon episode. I don't need any of that.
No,
if
me
it
either.
needs to be more weeks, then it needs to be more weeks.
Right. It can be a 40 episode season. I don't care.
It could be a 55 episode season. I cannot, for the life of me, watch a 2-hour episode of the same exact show.
No,
Every week.
Totally agree. It's committing to a long movie.
It's watching the Titanic every week.
I was going to say
Twice.
it's watching Lord of the Rings every week. Right. It's like,
Twice.
all right, enough.
If this was a movie, there would be 2 VHS tapes.
Yeah. Ooh, yes, there would be.
But thank God we're back. The Other Way. We're here to talk about The Other Way Season 2. We're going to talk about Episode 1. And then we're going to talk about Episode 2.
I'm psyched.
So we're a little ahead of the game right now. We're going to jump into it in just 1 second. Guys, if you like what you're hearing right now, make sure that you go to any platform that you listen on and give us a 5-star rating and a great review telling everyone why they need to listen to the podcast. That is the best thing that you could do for us.
It really is. Just tell everybody why you love us.
Tell us. It's my birthday today, so I need that to happen. And it's also Noelle's birthday today. And it's also our friendship anniversary. And it's also
my wedding anniversary.
It's our wedding anniversary, so just do that for us. The other thing is, guys, if you are hearing us and you're like, there's just not enough of Tracy and Noelle in my life, which is, I got to tell you, a lot of people have been really just like rioting in the streets about it.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe
that's what I've heard.
Yeah. And maybe it wasn't about that. Okay.
No.
So what I need you guys to do is please join our Patreon, patreon.com/Trash Talk Podcast. If you go there, you will get over 100 episodes of bonus content. It's amazing. We also covered 90 Day Fiance self-quarantine. We have another podcast called BS Not Teen Mom Related. And as always, guys, all kidding aside, please support the causes that are going on right now. Please pay attention to what's happening. Support everything that's happening. We've been donating. We've been trying very hard to have very difficult conversations with people in our lives and making them realize that Black lives absolutely matter.
Absolutely. I love that.
Thank you. Let's talk about the first person that we meet on this episode, which is Brittany.
Yes.
Brittany is 26. She's from Palm Beach, and she's with Yazan, who's 24, and he's from Jordan.
Mm-hmm. He's so cute.
So cute. So 5 months ago, why did I write 5 months ago? It says 5 months ago from Florida.
He's the oldest of 5. That's the first thing that he says.
Okay, the oldest of 5. So he can't, there's something about 5 months ago from Florida.
Okay.
He can't come there.
Right.
So she goes to Jordan to visit him, right?
Right.
And Brittany loves to work. She's like,
she's a 7-layer cake.
Right. There's a lot of things about her. She's got braces. She's got fur slippers. Mm-hmm. She has, she's a rapper. And the best part about her is she's a rapper, but she's also her own video hoe.
She really is. She is her own video vixen.
She's wearing her fuzzy slippers in her own video. She has a few different jobs. She does marketing. She does tours. She does modeling. And she's a rapper.
Yeah,
and
she is a jack of all trades.
She's rapping about Yazan's money right now.
Mm-hmm.
So then we meet her dad and her dog, Max. And she usually dates guys that are 45 and older.
And wealthy.
Right. And she dated an 85-year-old before.
Mm-hmm. So she's Anna Nicole Smith, basically.
Literally. So he has a mechanical engineering degree, but he works at his dad's fish store.
Right.
That sounds real. His sister lives upstairs from her sister.
Right.
So when she was
visiting her
visiting
family in Chicago.
Right. So she was visiting her sister, and his sister lives upstairs. So I guess they're friends. And she saw his sister video chatting with him, and she's like, "Oh my God, this is the most good-looking man I've ever seen in my life."
Here's the thing. He's not bad looking, but it's just so hard for me to picture that.
I know. To be honest with you, I think that we also haven't seen like a great video of him.
Yes.
Because the lighting is always so bad that I need to see more of him.
Yes.
So the good thing is he did send her money for the ticket to Jordan.
Right. After just a few days of a few weeks of talking.
Right. So he proposed to her when she got there, and she hasn't told her dad, but she's moving to Jordan.
But why did these people wait until the last minute to tell?
I don't know. Does she have a bad lip job? What's going on?
I don't know. I know that she has a bad eyebrow job. One of her eyebrows is very crooked compared to the other one.
Interesting. So her dad is very uncomfortable, and she's like, I'm going to move to Jordan, and he's just smiling. And he's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to handle this. Right.
Right. So she's scared of like the laws in Jordan, that she's not going to have many rights. And her dad just like clenches his teeth.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for him because I feel like they're so close, and now he's almost going to feel like a little abandoned too.
Right. So, okay, let's move on. We see Jenny. She's 62. We know Jenny. Jenny was from last season.
Jenny from the block.
She's living with her daughter, and she's sleeping on the couch because remember, last season she sold everything she had to go move to India with Sumit.
Right, but well, sometimes it's Sumit, sometimes it's Sumi.
It depends. So Sumi said that he was Michael Jones when they first started talking, and he was from London, England. And then, boom, 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 we find out that he's Sumi and he lives in India. So she gets to India, and it turns out he had a wife. Because he was part of an arranged marriage, and his family basically took him from her back to his wife, and she left, and now he's getting divorced.
Listen, I think it's wonderful he's getting divorced, but it's so hard for me to trust anything this man says.
Noelle, 100%.
Yeah.
So now we see Jenny. She's kickboxing with her daughters, and I gotta tell you, Jenny has very minimal makeup on at the gym. It looks great. She looks the best she's ever looked.
Her hair is more toned, a little darker. She looks great.
So now the problem is, and exactly what you were just talking about, she hasn't seen the paperwork yet.
Right. And she's basically saying, like, if the lying continues, well, the daughters say if the lying continues, they're done. But it's like, I wish Jenny would say that.
I know. So now Jen, her daughter-in-law, is basically like, I'm going to kick the crap out of him. She's no joke.
I like her.
I like her too, but she looks, the daughter-in-law looks like she got out of jail 10 minutes ago.
Oh, no. She would wipe the floor with Sumi.
Yeah, she's like ready to. Remember how little he was too?
Yes, he was like a baby man.
Very baby man. So now Jenny is putting her pudding back on her lips. So that she could
forgot about that.
So she could video chat with Sumit.
Right.
And she's been in the US for 5 months, but she's going back to India in 1 week.
It's amazing. I feel like she's been back so much longer. You know, I felt like that happened a while ago.
Well, they're going to be renting a big house, and he also made the first payment on his divorce, and then he pays again in 6 months. But he told her first he pays again in 2 months, so he lied.
Already, this guy is lying already.
But he said that he thought that November 29th was his divorce, but actually it's the court date for the domestic violence suit that she was pushing against him, but now she's going to drop it because he said it was a lie.
Right, but she was supposed to shop him, but she hasn't.
Right. So now Jenny said that she needs proof. She needs the paperwork.
Right.
Because they need to get married when she gets there. And she's like, do your parents know that I'm coming? And he's like, yeah, of course. Right. So she's like, okay, can you call them into the room? I want to talk to them. And he goes, I could try.
Right. So if I was her, I would say I need to Skype with your ex-wife, your soon-to-be ex-wife, to believe this.
Yeah, this is crazy. All right, so now we move on to Kenneth. Kenneth is 57. He's from St. Petersburg, Florida, and he's eating a medium well steak, thank God. And Well,
No
I think he was
pink in
making
the burgers.
I think, yeah. And he's a property manager, and he has a 26-year-old son, Bryson, and then he has 23-year-old triplet daughters, Taylor, Cassidy, and Madison.
And then he has Cooper, his grandson, who's 2.
Right. Well, Madison lives with him, and then his
Right.
grandson is 3.5, actually.
Oh, okay, good. He's so nice, Kenneth. I just want to put this out there. I like him
I
so
love him.
much. Me too.
I love him. So he's from Ohio. He always knew that he was different, and when he was 19, he came out as gay, and his parents accepted him.
Right. And when he started crying, saying like how scared he was and how loving his parents were, that really touched me. That was so nice.
Oh, I loved him. I just loved him. So he basically like fake married a lady that is his friend.
Right.
And she did in vitro, and that's how he has all of these children. But where is their mom? Is there like, are they like partners in raising the kids?
I think, honestly, it's like Michael Jackson, how he had that woman that just basically gave birth for him, and then he raised the kids. I think that's what it seemed like.
I guess it's just so weird.
Yeah, I don't know. She's not mentioned. At first, I thought she was the lady with the purple hair, the realtor.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Oh my God. And then I also was like, maybe that's his mom that accepted him.
Right.
So now he's moving to Mexico for Armando. Armando's 31 years old, and they met on a social media, I guess like a Facebook group for gay dads.
Right.
Armando has a 6-year-old daughter, and remember, Kenneth is 26 years older.
But it
than
blows
Armando.
my mind that Kenneth is 57.
He's so
It's
cute.
unbelievable. Like, he's so cute. Yep.
He's older than baby girl Lisa.
I know, which then, again, my brain melted when I heard this one.
So he's selling his house, so he goes to see his purple real estate agent.
Right. So cute.
She's
I love that
purple.
her
She's
eyeshadow matched.
Everything on her was purple. She was purple. So he said that he will support them, like
Right.
I guess the whole fam, and then he will have to start working in Mexico.
Right. Within 6 months, basically.
But there's no LGBTQ plus community in Mexico, and it's just a little bit scary to go down there.
Sure, they're not as accepting.
Right. So now you see Cooper. Cooper's his grandson. He's very vocal.
Oh, he's a cutie pie, too.
He's a chatty little Kathy.
Yeah.
So Madison, his daughter, is so worried about homophobia done in Mexico for his dad. And because also remember something, Armando's parents do not accept his homosexuality.
Right.
But now Madison is crying hysterically. She feels abandoned, and she's so sad that he's leaving.
But I listen, I get it, but I almost don't think that's fair, because I think that he's lived his life for his kids, and now he deserves to be happy.
Understood, but remember something. She's 23 years old. She's
That's
still
true too.
very young.
Right. Yeah.
So, I get that she has a kid and everything, but like she lives with her dad and her kid.
Right. So it's kind of like she feels abandoned. I mean, I do understand that.
So now we meet Ariella, 28 years old, from New Jersey. I don't like her right away. Just right away.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. There's always one person I don't like right away. This season, it's her.
Okay, well, her father is Fred. He's a cardiologist.
I like him.
She love him. She's a freelance writer, and she said that everyone loves her.
Yeah, I don't know. She works part-time at her dad's practice. Okay, cool.
Sure. She moved to Argentina for 2 years, and then she married her best friend.
Right, who was very attractive, might I add.
Yes. So she married him, and then basically she married this guy. The reason why they rushed into marriage is because she wanted to bring him to the U.S., and then they've been separated for the last 3 years.
Right, but they actually stayed married for 10, so.
Right. So now last year she got divorced, and then she went to Ethiopia to find herself again.
Yeah, I don't know. She's like, there was a cheap ticket to go there, and it's like, oh, okay, Ethiopia.
So now, can you say her boyfriend now she met Binyam?
I'm not sure, so I wrote baby because that's what his nickname is.
Okay, well, let's call him baby. But I think it's Binyam. So he's 29 years old. He's a dancer. He's a gymnast. And she tried to break up with him. They dated for 3 months. They dated for 3 months, and now she's 6 months pregnant
Right.
with a boy. So she came back to the U.S., and now she's doing prenatal yoga.
Right.
And I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm all the way confused by all of this.
Okay, so she's at the prenatal yoga class.
Yes.
And they're like, introduce yourself and say your birth plan. And, she's like, I'm Ariella. I am going to give birth in Ethiopia. They don't have,
they don't have epidurals there.
They don't have epidurals, blah, blah, blah. And then some other girl's like, my name is whatever. And I took the C-section class.
Right.
What?
I know. What is that?
What is that? I don't know what that means. I need someone. Guys, if you're listening and you know exactly what this means, can you come over to the 90 Day Fiance podcast, Trash Talk group on Facebook, and please tell me what a C-section class is?
Well, here's the thing. I think it's probably a lot of it is aftercare, like what to expect. But now, basically, people are scheduling their births.
I know. They've been doing this for a long time. I don't love that. I think that
I don't love that either.
I would never want to have a surgery like that. That's crazy.
No, not unless I had to. Right.
Well, she's going to be having the baby in Ethiopia, and she has on her Jewish star necklace. Okay,
yes,
so now
all the way.
Let me tell you. I'm going to tell you something.
Tell me.
He might also be Jewish.
Really, in Ethiopia?
There is a very large Jewish population in Ethiopia.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, I used to work with an Ethiopian woman, and she was Jewish.
Wow.
And she used to tell me all about it. So just
interesting
saying.
Because when I saw her Star of David, I actually thought about it. Like in Ethiopia, are they
like,
Jewish?
Is that cool?
Right.
Sure. Oh, yeah. No, there's a very, very large Jewish population.
Okay.
So now she can't get an epidural, and they don't really have the medicine. And also we learned that in Japan, they don't really do an epidural.
Right. I did not know that. I didn't know that it's more of an American thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
Are you going to give birth in Japan?
I mean, are you going to give birth anywhere but here? Here's what bugs me. Why are you choosing this?
Well, because she wants him to be at the birth of her child.
Skype him.
I know. Seriously.
Yep.
So, and also, why isn't he allowed here? Question mark. Just
right.
saying. I don't know.
There's a lot to learn still. These are the preliminaries.
Yes. So that was episode 1.
Yes.
Now we're going to talk about season 2, episode 2.
All right.
We start off with Jenny and Sumit again, and he tries to get his parents into the room. He tries so hard. Noelle, he tried so hard.
I know. God bless him. He tried so hard.
Oh, my God. But they did not want to speak to her. They don't accept the relationship. And it's been 5 months since they've seen each other.
Right.
And his in-laws agreed to a divorce.
Right.
So now he's playing cricket with his friends, and he's telling his friends that Jenny's coming back. And we learn that he has to pay $20,000 back to his father-in-law for the wedding. I think that's so funny.
So do I. I actually really think that's funny because it's like, well, I spent this money on your wedding. Now you can pay me back.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So now he paid $10K, and
Right.
now he owes another $10K. And apparently you don't make a ton of money working in India because his
Right.
friends were like, what kind of job would you even make that you could make that kind of money?
I know. And it's like, but also, I don't know how much skills Sumit has in
Right.
general.
So his dad is helping, and his
Right.
friends accuse him of lying. He's a liar.
He
His
is a
friends-
liar.
He's a giant liar. And it was not just the catfish thing. It wasn't just the married thing. Like, he's a giant liar.
It
Like,
seems
he has
that
a
nobody
problem.
trusts him.
No
Yep.
one trusts him. His friends are like, listen, bro, you're not telling the truth. And then he says back to them, my parents are helping me because they love me.
And it's like, but they're like, yeah, but your parents aren't accepting or agreeing to you being with Jenny. Like, that's
Right.
the main problem. And you're not tackling that problem.
Right. So they don't like Jenny. And then he can't have kids.
Right. But
And they're like-
he's fine with that, though, I think.
I know. So they say, listen, she's too old. And he says, nobody can stop us. Actually, bro, guess who could stop you? Your parents, again, just like they did last time.
That's true. You know what? Or your father-in-law, until you pay him back, he will come to the house and rip you out of there again.
Just saying. So now we go back to Jenny. She's meeting with a financial advisor. And because she took her 401k out last year to pay for her trip to India.
Right. See, I thought she just had her savings out last year. I didn't know
No.
she actually cashed in her
Everything.
401k.
she sold all her
man.
stuff. So now she only came back with $2,000.
Right.
And she has to apply for early Social Security. But there's so many penalties with early Social Security. She's going to have to pay rent in India because he doesn't have a job.
Yep. And that's the thing though. She is willingly doing this.
Yes.
She's going to take a 30% penalty off of her Social Security, which is her only income for the rest of her life.
And she's going to get $625 a month. And he is not working. He hasn't been working this entire time.
Right.
He wasn't working when Jenny lived there. He wasn't working the 5 months that they've been apart.
Right.
I hate him. I really do.
No,
I hate
so
him.
do I. He's a con artist. Because you know what? If you wanted her so bad, you would have worked your ass off this whole time and saved every dollar you could.
Yep, absolutely. Now, also, here's the other thing. You have $2,000 to your name. You have a financial advisor?
Right. Right? She said her financial advisor. I'm like, really? What's happening here?
Oh, please. Oh, please. All right. Well, let's move on. Armando and Kenny. Now we go to Mexico and we meet Armando. He went to bilingual school, so he speaks perfect English. And he has had a pet resort on his parents' property for 5 years. And his sister is the groomer.
I love that. It's like a little family compound. It's so cute.
I love it. It's adorable. So now he has a 6-year-old daughter named Hannah.
Right.
And he really, really wanted to not accept himself, I think, too.
Yeah.
So he got married. He was married for 8 years. And then he came out to his wife. And his wife told his mother.
I mean, I don't really know if that's her place to do something like that.
Well, guess what?
Right.
She died in a car accident very, very quickly after that.
Right.
And he went into a gay father's support group and he met Kenny.
Right.
And there's a 26-year age difference. And in 2 weeks, Kenny moves to Mexico, but the family doesn't know. But they're also moving 4 hours away.
And he's taking Hannah, who
wants a sled for her birthday.
Okay, that's what confused me. I'm like, is there snow there? No, there's no such thing as snow in Mexico.
I don't think so.
I mean, listen, I don't want to be
Question mark.
ignorant. I don't think so, though.
So he tells his family they're doing a documentary about life in Mexico, and this is not 90 Day Fiance. So now he has to come out again.
Yes. I mean, this poor guy, he has to come out a lot. I do feel bad for him. I think he's living with so much guilt.
I think that he's also had like a pretty rough life, to be honest with you. So now he goes over to his sister, who is working in a candy stand in their backyard.
That's what I don't understand this family compound. It's like a little PlayStation. Like there's little, like when you're a kid, how you have like a fake kitchen.
Like she's pretending to be a candy seller.
Yes, like maybe his other sister has a lemonade stand on the property. And
they just sell to each other.
That's what I mean. I'm like standing there and I'm like, is there heavy foot traffic in this area?
In the backyard?
Very confusing.
Okay, let me tell you something. So he tells her, and I also thought it was very funny. Obviously, this scene is staged, right? And he goes over and he goes, "Hi, I was watching a movie on my phone and he needed some sweets."
And I like that she gives it to him in a to-go bag too, even though he's sitting there.
Like he's like a real. He's like, she's like, "Okay, but you have to play my game with me. I work in a candy store." Okay. And he's like, "Okay, candy store lady, can I have 5 gummy worms?" And she's like, 5 gummy worms coming right up. So he's like, "All right. So remember last time when I told you I was gay? Still."
All the way.
Right. Still and again. And she said that last time she came out to him, she told him that the devil was in him and he went into the desert so he could die and get eaten by an animal.
Okay, that broke my heart. He was just hoping for death, basically. Like,
oh my God,
she
that's so
flipped
sad.
out on him. How sad is that?
So sad. So she said it's very hard, but she asked him to forgive her. But now here's the other thing. He doesn't say like, by the way, I have a boyfriend. His name is Kenneth. He lives in... He was like, Kenny's coming to move here. So
right. Well,
know.
she says, I hear you talking to him and he's a great guy. Right.
Okay. But guess what?
Then
he told, but he told them already then.
See, I feel like it's on almost like a don't ask, don't tell.
Right. Yes. But still, it's like, they don't have no clue.
Sure.
They have a clue.
Sure.
Now we go back to Brittany. Brittany is scared of moving, and her and Yazan are video chatting, and he wants her to convert to Islam. I got to tell you, her response is hysterical.
What? How she just diverts?
It reminds me so much of so many people in my life, and by so many people, I mean one person. So this is what she says to him. He's like, you should convert to Islam. Being Muslim is great. And she says, this is a quote, "I'm happy for you and your family and everyone else who's Muslim. Anyway."
Your beard is so cute.
So she says she's just not interested in converting, and she can't stay in his house. He can't stay with her.
Right.
Because they're not married. So he wants to marry her a few days after she comes there, and his parents really want to rush them.
You know what blows my mind? In America, you have to basically beg a man to marry you. And in these countries, these men are like 4 days we have to get married.
It's so true, though.
Right?
It's so, yeah, but also I'm never going to love you.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm never going to love you, but still, we have to get married right away.
So she said that she doesn't want to get married so soon because she wants her family to be here. But she's like, but by the way, that's not why. She's like, I'll tell you the real reason real quick. So she goes to a lawyer, and apparently she's still married to her ex from 5 years ago.
This girl seems to have quite a life story I'm interested in.
She's got a lot of, I don't want to say issues.
Skeletons?
She's got a lot of something going on. This is a her problem.
Yes. This is definitely an H problem.
So she married a guy that was Haitian.
Right.
And 3 months after they get married, he was taken by ICE. She says this very casually.
Right. Like, no big deal. He was taken by ICE. He was also really controlling.
Noelle, she totally forgot she got married.
Yeah, well, she just put it out of her mind. It was like, oh, it was only 3 months later.
Right. And she didn't know that he wasn't a citizen.
Mm-hmm. No, she knew him really well. And they were together for like years.
Right. Okay. So now the longest that this divorce could take is 6 to 10 months. But she told Yazan's family that she was married,
right.
But they think the divorce is final. So now the producers asked the lawyer. They're like, how serious could this be? She's like, it could be pretty serious. They're like, how serious? And she goes, it could be bigamy.
Okay. What's bigamy?
When you're like married to two people, I guess, illegally.
I don't know. I felt like it was so serious. Like we're talking like, bribery or something. Murder.
Yeah, no, I mean, bigamy is exactly what it is. It's getting married to someone while you're also married to someone.
Here's the thing. I've heard it just like I've heard racketeering. And I'm like, what is that? It sounds like a sport,
Okay. Can I tell you something? When people used to say racketeering when I was younger, I was like, is that like bocce ball?
Right. That's exactly what I thought.
Because I'm like, only Italians get arrested for this. It
only
has
Italians.
to be something about bocce ball or like
yes.
shuffleboard.
That's what I never knew. I'm like, racketeering, only older Italian men. It's got to be a sport.
It's got to be bocce ball.
Yeah, it has to be.
It's got to be a crime. It's got to be cheating in bocce ball. Okay, also something that I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the women on this show have painted on eyebrows.
Yes, they do.
Because, okay, and I'll tell you how you could tell. I'm not saying that they're bad shapes, but when you see the shine of their face, you also see the shine of the eyebrow. There's no hair involved.
Yes, Yolanda's eyebrows were that way.
Okay.
Yep.
Also, Armando's sister's eyebrows were that way. Also,
yes.
Brittany's eyebrows were that way. Also, Jenny's daughter's eyebrows were that way.
Right. It's not, it doesn't look like microblading. It looks like painted on.
More often than not,
mm-hmm.
they have painted on eyebrows on the show.
Yes.
Okay.
Agreed.
Well, let's move on to Ariella.
Okay.
So Ariella, again, 28 from New Jersey. Her mom, Janice, is going to miss the rest of her pregnancy, and she's very upset. So they're going for her checkup.
Right.
And her doctor is friends of the family for 30 years. Now, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor
mm-hmm.
is shaking.
Yeah. Yes, he is very blinky.
I don't know if he has like some kind of disease.
Right.
But I'm worried about the steadiness of his hand during a C-section.
During a shot. Getting a shot.
I'll take a shaky shot. over a shaky C-section. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay. So she's due on Christmas and her last blood test was elevated. Now, I think that this was a lie because they made him say this for a segue.
What you think?
Yeah, because he didn't really. He's like, your last blood test was elevated. What does that mean?
I don't know. Maybe like her sugar.
But he wouldn't he have said your sugar?
That's true too. Yeah.
Okay. He's like, so when are you gonna? We're gonna repeat that in a few weeks. And she's like, actually, LOL, I'm moving to Ethiopia. And I gotta tell you, when she said that, his chest hair just started flowing. It was billowing in it was just back and forth, just like, oh my god, the most luxurious chest hair you've ever seen.
Hair of flowing.
So, okay. He said that not only is medicine not really available, possibly in Ethiopia,
right,
but blood won't be available if you need a blood transfusion.
That's so terrifying. And she's not scared of any of this.
Nope. She's like, oh, whatevs.
Yeah.
So her mom wants to come with her to Ethiopia to kind of like pick out a hospital, see what they can do. And her mom is an ER and trauma nurse.
Here's the sad part is like Ariel is an adult because it's almost like I wish she was a teen so her mom could be like, you're not allowed to go.
I know. I almost feel like saying, Ariella, you're not allowed. Like,
no.
Let's get real. Like, you could have the baby and then you could do whatever you want with it.
Yeah. And listen, on the coming attractions, it looks like they're blowing into her mouth with something. It was very scary.
Oh, my God. I did not even see that. I'm so glad I didn't see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, they said she could safely fly up to 32 weeks. So if she has to come back, if she goes there and basically the hospital's not there, she can come back.
And it's like, and she's like, so she basically has 3 to 4 weeks to check this out and then come back. And she does not look like she's going to come back. She's like, whatever happens, happens. YOLO. It's fine.
Yeah. She's like, if I die, I die. I don't care. Good times. We've decided to add The Other Way, Season 2, Episode 3 in with this fun mix. And this is added after the fact just because I couldn't even believe that they aired a 3rd episode.
So quickly.
I was like, you didn't even give me a second to catch up on 1 and 2. And now it's number 3. So here we are reviewing The Other Way, Season 2, Episode 3. Let's get right into it. The first couple that we see is Devon and Jehoon.
It's so funny you call her Devon. It's like Teen Mom.
Devin, sorry about that. She's 23 years old now. I can't believe
I have to tell you, I didn't realize she was that young. I knew she was young. I didn't realize she was 23 young.
She's 23 with 2 kids, and Jehoon is 29. He's going to be 30. And he's in Korea dealing with the epidemic. Well, actually, we start off, and she's in Korea.
Right.
Dealing with the epidemic. That's what she calls it, the epidemic.
And she's wearing a mask in the house. I don't know why.
Probably like for effect.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, it's got to be to show how like dire it is there.
Yeah, so she's dealing with the epidemic. So we know that she goes back to Korea because this is current time, and then we go 7 months earlier. So Jehoon is getting a haircut, and Devon. She had to go back to America because he hadn't gotten them a place to live.
But it's like, it's almost like after a while, aren't you seeing a pattern here with this guy?
100%.
Why do you keep flying back there?
Who's the idiot?
Right. Show me a tour of the house that you live inside of before I fly there.
Yeah, my house that you're going to have rented for me.
Yes.
Set it up. Show it to me. I want to see how many years the lease is for.
And FaceTime me while you're at work so I can see that you're putting tile down.
And then also send me screenshots of your paycheck.
Yes.
Let me talk to your boss.
Come on.
And then maybe I'll move there. It's like, she doesn't even like him anymore.
I know, she's so over this. I don't even know why she's attempting. She's got it good where she is now. Why even go there?
Seriously. And apparently, she definitely doesn't have much contact with, Dracula's father.
Right. Dracula.
Because, I mean, if she's moving Dracula to another country.
Without having to clear it with anybody. then it's
So
no big
he's
deal. Right.
out of the picture. So it's like
Right.
if you did it with Dracula, do it with this baby and just let him like maybe send you money when he gets a job.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know why she's bothering either.
She's a silly goose sometimes, I got to tell you.
She
So
is.
he goes to get a haircut, and even his barber is calling him lazy. His barber's like, you have small ears. You're a jerk.
I know. It's like, wow, so many little fables. But he's just full of shit. He is. He's one of those guys that's just a bean shooter, as we like to call them.
Yes. So
Yep.
they lived in his parents' house for a few weeks, and then she moved
Right.
back to the U.S.
Right.
And now she's moving back to Korea.
That would not be happening in my world.
She's bringing extra snug size condoms
Poor guy. Poor guy.
because she doesn't want them to fall off because that's how she got pregnant.
Okay. I mean, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's how you got pregnant, but it's very sad. You're basically telling us all that.
You're telling us a lot.
Yes. Let's just keep it at that.
You're telling us that you should probably not move to Korea.
Or not look for love there.
Just saying. So her mom is going to come.
Right.
And her mom thinks that she's like, listen, he's almost 30 years old. He should have a house. He should have his own savings, a huge savings. And I'm like, okay, I think that it needs to be somewhere in the middle of this.
Yeah. Way to make me feel awful.
Yeah, well, he by 29, Noelle, you're supposed to have a huge savings.
And
And
own
you're
a
also
house.
And own a house. So chop, chop on that. She's gotten a rental for a month. So
Right.
Devon.
Devon. Uh-huh.
What's her name, Noelle?
I think it's Devon. But I like to call her Devon. It's just easier.
It's not her real name, though. No, I'm kidding. So she got a rental for a month. So she's like
Right.
basically like, I'll do the first month and then we'll move again.
But that's what I don't understand. Why would she even do that? Like, why not just wait for him to do it? Why are she's spending $2,000 for 1 month?
Why?
I don't know.
It just doesn't make a ton of sense. I gotta tell
think
you.
the cost of living is really high out there too.
It's probably really high,
Yeah.
but like, stop.
Yeah.
I would just like FaceTime him a lot.
But that's what I mean. It's basically like, what do you need him for? He's not your companion. You're just taking care of another kid.
Right. So she
Really?
doesn't trust him at all. And her mom is going to come with her. And she already paid a month for this apartment.
Right.
So he's like, no, I got a job. I just don't know what it pays. And she's like, don't you have a delivery job too? She's like, he goes, sure.
Right. And he's like, I don't know.
And-
I make 6,000 or 7,000.
Well, he's like, she goes, what do you get paid for the tile job? And he's like, I don't know. I have no clue. And she's like, well, what do you make? And he's like, 3,000 to 4,000. And she's like, okay, what about the delivery job? He's like 6,000 to 7,000.
Right.
It's like,
what?
okay, what? You're
Right.
making 10.
First of
why
all, you're
don't you
making
stay there?
$7,000 a month.
Why don't you stay there and just pay her child support?
Right. And what are you doing with all this money? You don't have this money.
Also, if your debt is only 15 grand, then
Sure.
live with your parents, and in 3 months you could pay your debt.
Right. And then you can get us a place and be debt free.
Nothing makes sense here.
No, he's a bean shooter.
So now we go to Yazan and Brittany.
Right.
I don't even understand what's happening with these two.
Okay. This can't be real, right?
I don't think it can be real. I really don't. So Yazan and Brittany, he is excited, but he's worried because when she went there the last time to meet him, she dressed super inappropriately.
Here's the thing. You know where you're going. Like if
Okay,
I
but
was going to Alaska, I would wear a heavy jacket.
Okay, but again, you know where you're going. So in the same respect, you know who's coming there and you know how she's going to act. So why are you trying to marry her?
Right. And also maybe bring it up to her before she comes. Hey, this is a really conservative country.
I'm sure he brought it up. She was probably like, I don't care. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, I mean but this is a pattern with women on the show in general.
Yeah, I
Right?
don't know. This just doesn't make a ton of sense. So
Yeah.
she has to dress in garb when she's there.
Right.
And now he's talking to his brother in the fish market. And he's like, his brother's like, you should marry a Muslim. And he's like, no, I want to marry Brittany. So now we learn that
Right.
he wanted to choose a relative.
And his
They wanted him
parents
to
are related.
Because they wanted him to choose a relative because apparently where they're from, and again, this is, I guess, a big cultural difference.
Uh-huh.
He's his parents are related.
Mm-hmm.
His parents are brother and sister, husband and wife,
Right.
cousin and cousin,
Ooh, lots of relations.
mother and father.
Uh-huh.
Everything's fine. So
So
he
they
said
want
that she'll
him to pick a
convert.
cousin or something, right?
Pick a cousin. It's like we have all these cousins. You got to go to America and find this girl. They wanted. So he said that she'll convert, but we know that that's not true. She said, "I have no interest in converting."
But also, she should be telling him this, though, too.
This girl is out of her mind, though.
She is out of her mind.
There's something wrong with her. The attention that she seeks is amazing.
I know, and it's amazing because she was raised by her dad, a single dad.
Her
Why
dad's
does
weird.
No,
I'm sorry.
listen, her dad's weird, but you usually don't seek all this validation from men if you have an active father in your life.
Right. Well,
you
I
know,
mean, he's actively just smiling.
he
very
can't stop.
creepily.
That he's like the video. So I watched it the other day, Black Hole Sun from Soundgarden, where everyone creepily just smiles the whole time. That's him. It's him.
Black hole sun,
Yeah.
won't you come and wash away the pain?
rain.
Black hole sun,
Yep.
won't. Sorry, I'm sorry. That I just really like that song. So now
too.
today she's moving to Jordan, and they don't know that she's still married. Meaning Yazan and his family.
So they don't know she's still married. They don't know that she won't convert. They don't know that she
Right.
can't cover her ass. You know, like
So she starts chugging. Is it vodka that she packs?
I think it was like Moscato. I think it was wine.
Oh no, I think it was liquor.
Oh, really? Because I
Yeah.
thought it was very similar to a bottle that I saw the other day in the liquor store. I don't drink,
Oh.
and I was in a liquor store.
So now she Ubers with her dad to the airport, and he's just smiling. I mean,
I guess
what a
that's how
smile.
the guy copes. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
So she asked him, she's like, "How should I tell them that I'm married?" And he's like, maybe just tell him."
Right. Don't do it at like a family picnic.
Right. So now they get to the airport, and her bag's too heavy, so she has to take her mannequin head out.
She's
And
just
he's
so
just-
extra.
And then her father just smiles.
And holds it. And she's
But you
like,
know what? I
oh,
gotta-
hold her and think of me.
I got to tell you, she does the same thing. They have the same smile. They have the same terrifying smile.
Well, I also think that they're both terrified, and this is like how they're coping with it.
Well, let's talk about your favorite on this show now, Ariella.
I'm over her.
Okay,
Over
so
it.
her mom had made some midnight meatballs.
I like a midnight meatball. I don't even know what that means, and I want one.
She's like, "Are these the meatballs that you made overnight?" She's like, "Yes, these are my midnight meatballs."
I want a midnight meatball. Tracy, make me a midnight meatball.
How do you feel about a middle of the day meatball?
Yeah, here's the thing. I like an any time of day meatball, but I'm just curious as to why she has to make these at midnight.
Right, like is this a tradition? Like what is going on? Or did she
Right.
just so happen to make them very late at night?
Right.
So now we find out that Binyam is in Ethiopia. He already has a kid. He was
Right.
married to an American before, and his son is only 2.5 years old.
Yeah, and she doesn't find anything wrong with this. No red
Nothing.
flags, nothing.
Nope. So the wife or the ex-wife has returned to the U.S. with their son.
Right.
And her brother's like, "Hey, do you think he's trying to get a green card here?
It's like, no, of course not.
Why would he be trying to do that? That sounds
Why?
just stupid."
What
So
even
what
makes
if
you think that?
So now the baby, she said, will be raised Jewish.
Right.
And she doesn't care what he says. So that's going to be a very good relationship.
Mhm. No, it sounds great.
He's Ethiopian Orthodox.
Right. I didn't even like. I mean, I guess because there's like Greek Orthodox, Ethiopian, like there's all these Orthodox religions. I
Sure.
didn't even think of. So that's Christian, right?
Yeah. So he's Christian.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
everything
okay.
is fine.
Mm-hmm. No, it seems like they're gonna work out. It seems like she is gonna give birth at a really nice facility.
Everything's going to be fine. Also, they want to speak to him directly because they want to get answers because they're like, my daughter is a mental case.
Yes. Yes, there's something wrong with her. Clearly, even when she speaks, you're looking at her and it's like she scares me more than Brittany's dad
She's
does.
empty. She's
Yeah.
empty.
Yep.
Okay. So let's talk about Sumi and Jenny.
Okay.
Jenny is coming back. She's going back to India.
She's
now you
got
see.
balls, man.
Oh my God. Now you see Sumi moving a chair into their new haunted house.
There's a lot of haunted mansions on these shows.
I mean, this is definitely not a mansion. This is like a house from the 80s that maybe like a very dirty family lived in and then it was never touched again.
But my question is, this is something I've noticed from Sumit in general. Every house he lives in has like doll-sized furniture. Is this like a thing from India?
I
Like
feel
all
like
the
it's a thing.
furniture is really small.
I feel like it's a thing. So he's
Yeah.
moving a chair, and then he says to the guy, "Does this smell?" I'm like, "Oh, great." I could smell his house already.
And he's like sniffing it. Yeah, it
Ugh.
smells great. Mhm.
So so they're moving far away. They're moving 2 hours away from, like, I guess where his parents live.
I think he thinks like the further away he goes, the more he could just run away from his problems.
Okay, guess what? Get a job.
Yeah, get a job. When was the last time he worked? Before the first time she went out there?
Who knows? So
Yeah.
his parents don't approve of Jenny because she's older than his mom.
I know. I didn't know that.
So when he gets divorced, he'll marry her. That's the plan. And so Sumi's kind of like shameful to the family. This is what his brother's saying.
Right.
And he's like, well, they never help me. They never help me. Meanwhile, do you remember when he was playing cricket last week with his friends?
Uh-huh. Who's
and he's
paying
like, my
for
parents.
that?
He's like, my parents. They help me because they love me.
Right. My parents spent $10,000 on my divorce because they love me.
Right. So
But
now
now
the
they
brother's
don't
like,
help you.
right, exactly. What about the 20K?
Uh-huh.
So his brother's like, I never really thought about it like that. You really love Jenny. Let me talk to our parents.
So listen, I believe he loves Jenny. I do. And I almost think he's growing like a little bit of balls now, but I don't think this is ever going to work out for
No,
him.
he's not a good person.
That's the problem. He's just shady. All these guys, though, are all shady.
Yeah. All these girls are shady.
I know. It's just a bunch of bad people together. And poor Jenny she really is the victim here because she
I
doesn't
know.
know better.
So Jenny's leaving for India, and she asks the daughter is like, hey, have you seen the divorce papers? And she's like, no, he can't get a hold of the lawyer because it's been a holiday.
Yeah, my mom's calling. What? I can't hear you.
And
Uh-huh.
also, it was Indian Christmas, and then it was Indian Thanksgiving,
And it was Indian 4th of July.
and Indian Easter, and that's why. And it's all actually the same. It's a month of holidays in India.
Right. And then my mom called, and I don't.
And then
I
my
can't
mom
hear
called,
you.
and then I fell asleep. And then I can't find my parents for them to come into the room, so I couldn't get the papers.
And her daughter-in-law is ready to fuck shit up.
Her daughter-in-law is gonna fight Sumi, and I
Yeah.
cannot wait to see
Me
him go
either.
down.
She is gonna pound him down.
So now they have a group hug. It's her whole family, all the kids,
Right.
and
Her daughters are both really pretty, I think.
yeah, they're. I mean, listen, I love her family. Like,
So
what
do
are you
I.
doing,
Why are you
Jenny?
leaving them? Right. They love you so much.
And Sumi, and she says Sumi is worth not seeing them all.
Yeah, that sounds like Big Ed. Basically.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So now we very, very quickly
Yeah.
touch on Kenneth.
I love him.
So he's going to be gone for Thanksgiving. So they're having an early Thanksgiving. And
Right.
he's like, I have a confession. He's like, everyone thinks that Armando is age appropriate. He's just turned 31.
But they're still kind of like, all right.
Okay.
Do you love him?
Can I say something mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
All of his daughters look like they're about to get their mug shots taken.
See, and meanwhile, I think all of them look like they're dying. They've never like had a piece of red meat in their life.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like they all
yeah.
look like they're like something bad just
they're not
happened.
okay. Right. They're like heroin chic, but in a not drug addict way. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like they look a little bit out of it.
Yes, they're not great. Let's just put it that way.
Just saying. So he tells them that he's going to propose when he gets there. And they're
So
kind of like,
cute.
and it's like, do you know what the show's called?
But I think that they're happy. They are. They're
Sure.
happy for him.
They are happy. But I would like to say something else. So, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously his daughter's upset because he's been helping her raise her son. But at the same
Right.
time, it's like your father is not your child's father.
Your father's not your child's father, and you know what? You have to figure it out. You have to get your
Yeah.
child care or whatever it is that you have to get. It's not his job.
Seriously, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. We'll be back with apparently 52 more episodes of The Other Way next week. So that will be amazing. Also, this week we have a double episode. So make sure you check out the next episode of this where we'll be covering Happily Ever After. And then the Couples Tell More, part 3 of the Tell All.
They've told enough.
They have told enough. Guys, you know where to find us, and it's going to be amazing. So make sure you're going to 90 Day Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and you could follow me, your host, Trixie Tuzini, on Instagram and Twitter, and go to tracycarnazzo.com for all of the projects that I work on, including my other podcast, Only in New York. And Noelle and I have another podcast called Teen Mom Trash Talk, and we're going to be having a live event on Zoom for all of you. So make sure tickets are going on sale shortly. Make sure you join our groups for all of the news. 90 Day Fiance podcast on Facebook is amazing. That's where we talk about the shows. You could talk to us. We interact with you. It's amazing. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Noelle, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me Twitter at NoeGirl or at Noe_bear810 on Instagram.
Okay, great, guys. I'll see you in just a minute.
Bye.
Bye.